Good evening, everyone. Imagine you were the parent of a 15-year-old who was horrifically taken away from you. Who was responsible? A 13-year-old who planned and fully executed with clear intent on what they were going to do. This was the tragic reality for a family of David Gutierrez, who was fatally stabbed and attacked in a mall on Valentine's Day. The attacker, a 13-year-old. They have been charged with homicide and felony assault. However, because of their age, they can only maximally be held in contempt until the age of 21. Unlike if they were over the age of 21, they'd be facing more than 25 years in prison. Today I stand before you to argue that juveniles who commit serious crimes should be tried as adults. There are no minor offenses. There are violent, premeditated actions that ruin lives. The legal system must acknowledge the severity of their crimes, not by excusing offenders because of their age, but by holding them accountable because of what they do. Juveniles who commit serious crime should be facing adult charges because they understand their actions. Stronger punishments defer crime, and justice must be served for victims in society. Firstly, I want to talk about understanding accountability and actions. One of the main arguments against trying juveniles as adults is the lack of mental capacity to fully understand the consequence of their actions. However, this argument does not hold up when you're looking at the facts. Psychology research indicates that while the brain continues developing in early adulthood, juveniles are fully capable of distinguishing right from wrong. By the early teenage years, according to the U.S. Department of Justice 2024, juveniles who commit violent crimes often exhibit premeditation, which means they plan their actions ahead of time. When a person makes a deliberate decision to commit an act of violence, whether it's murder, assault, or armed robbery, they are making a conscious choice. Just like in the case of David Gutierrez, his attacker was a 13-year-old. But does that take the crime any less severe? No. He is still not with us today because of her actions and her premeditated response to what she felt like she wanted to do. Furthermore, in cases involving violent juvenile offenders, it is common for the prosecutors to find evidence of planning, such as premeditated attacks, social media threats, and gang-related activity. The FBI reports that an increasing number of serious crimes committed by juveniles involve coordination through digital platforms. If juveniles can strategize and organize violent crimes, they should be capable of facing the legal consequences that come with them. This is also why I talked about why I think in my informative speech on why social media is bad for children. They are able to link up and talk to whoever they want to. It might be a 30-year-old dude talking to a kid about why he should go out and do something or harm someone or physically assault a lady or just so many other things. And most parents will never know. And this child fantasizes because he has no clue. And most parents aren't aware that this is going on, so they never speak to their child about it. And so this happens way too often with older men talking to younger children about and acting like they're younger and just trying to make this child do something that they really shouldn't. And in those instances, I understand if they don't get a max punishment. But in the cases where you can clearly see that it was their intent, they weren't forced to do it, they weren't planted the idea to do it, but they fully planned it themselves, and they decided that they wanted to go out and harm someone or do bodily harm or molest or just do anything to anyone else. I fully support that they should be tried as adults and not just children because they know what they're doing. And while I believe that yes, rehabilitation is a good thing, I believe at some point that you have to differentiate the difference between them. I think that rehabilitation is a good thing to do while in prison, but I still believe that you should serve those years that you would be tried as an adult. And if you have good behavior in prison, then I can understand you getting out early or something like that. but I just do not believe that you should be able to take a 15-year-old life, such as David Gutierrez, and this 13-year-old only has to serve 8 years, because she can get out at 21 years old. I just think that it's flawed when a person who was over 21 would get 25, but she only gets 8 because of the law that states that she would probably get out at 21. So getting back to the point, my second main point would be just for public safety. Another crucial reason for trying juveniles as adults is the deterrence. Juveniles now receive lenient sentences, then they're most likely going to go out and commit the crimes that they probably shouldn't commit. So I believe that if you have more harsh punishments, then you should be able to kind of dwindle down the amount of crimes that are being committed in that kind of field, whether it's sexual assault or murder, everything like that. Now, obviously, I think if it's like a third-degree murder where you don't mean to kill someone, but it's kind of like you accidentally do, I think that should be kind of more lenient towards like the younger people, because like they didn't necessarily mean to do it. Now, obviously, adults don't mean to do it either. Or like vehicular homicide or stuff like that, because like you're kind of taking the whole the child's life away. If not obviously if it's negligent, then yes, obviously. But that's just my opinion. The Bureau of Justice Statistics in 2023 revealed that juveniles tried in the juvenile system have higher rates of going back to their former ways, meaning they are more likely to reoffend compared to those who are tried as adults. The study found that when juveniles are sentenced in adult court, they were significantly less likely to commit another violent offense after release. This suggests that tougher penalties serve as strong deterrent. Thirdly and lastly, I want to talk about justice for victims and their family. When your 15-year-old is taken away from you in such an act of violence, that as a parent and as an adult, you want to see that child in prison and locked away for their actions. When you can clearly and full-heartedly go out there and do harm to another person and not feel remorse for it, or like when you understand what you're doing, I believe that there should not really be any, you shouldn't be able to just get off with a couple year thing because of your age. I believe that you should get what the law is written for you to get if you're older. So this is kind of a bigger thing for me. It's not really impacted my life by other people and stuff like that. I can understand petty charges, like if you're in possession of drugs, which I think is not a great thing, obviously. But I can understand if you're older, you kind of have a more of a understanding of what you're doing. Sometimes when you're younger, you kind of are not so understanding of some of the things that can possibly happen to you if you do some of those things. But when you're an adult, you kind of got to understand you're too old to not know what you're facing and what you're doing and things like that. So petty crimes and charges, I can understand. But for murder and you're pre-planning, you're pre-intentioning to go out there and harm someone else is just, in my opinion, should not be a thing. And in closing, juveniles who commit serious crimes should be tried as adults because they understand their actions. Tougher sentences deter crime, and justice must be served for the victims and society and their family. We cannot allow age to be a shield from responsibility. The legal system must, in clear message, if you commit an adult crime, you will face an adult consequence. If those who say juveniles deserve leniency, I ask, what about the victims? What about the families? What about public safety? When we prioritize the rights of defenders over justice for victims, we fail as a society. Thank you.